Andy P back with another video. Bit of a rundown on what we're going to do this week, see how this week goes. Today is the 9th of October and we're nearly 10 past 2 now. And I am doing a job to a place called Coldstream, which is right on the Scottish border, above Newcastle on the east side. And it's just like a big frame. It's been like made. Got out a bit late this morning. I had to do my VAT return earlier on, and this weekend I've just had a bit of a busy weekend, to be honest. And the weather were a bit more nice than it has been. It's probably the last chance to do anything. The wife was off, so we did some stuff. I watched the football, I cut the grass. Just didn't get my invoicing done. I did it literally late last night, and that's after I picked my daughter up from work. So I weren't doing my VAT return last night, so I've done that this morning. And I have found with the CX at the moment, they weren't as busy as normal-ish this morning. There were jobs, there was stuff knocking about, but just didn't seem as busy as normal. And I've been saying to a few of the lads that I speak to recently, what I found is that because of where I live, there's a lot of jobs that come up around the Manchester area. It's one of the best areas in the country for work, but there's also a hell of a lot of drivers covering quite a big area. So when you're bidding in the morning to get jobs, you are up against everybody else, and that makes it difficult. And plus, because of where I live, I'm not like bang in the centre of Manchester or anything like that. I'm at the other side of Manchester, so I'm the east side of Manchester. So it's very good from picking up from like Huddersfield or Halifax, that kind of area, or just bobbing over the Pennines. But if you wanted to pick work up from the other side of Manchester, early in the morning, getting over there, very difficult, time consuming. Even Stockport in the morning, depending on whereabouts it is, can be really time consuming to get there. So I just think there's a lot of other drivers, it's a lot closer and got a better chance of winning the work than me. And then obviously it comes down to bidding and all the other stuff. But we have got this job, and it was a pick up in Dungerfield, and it was late on though, so I didn't pick up this up till 11:30, and it's a 4-hour drive, but we got good money on it. It's just one of those. I'm not going to get there till 4 o'clock, and then it's what do I do? Do I travel home empty, which is like 200 miles? Don't really want to do that. Or do I look at staying over? Do I travel down a little bit as well to Newcastle and stop over? I've got a friend that lives in Stockton-on-Tees who has got a spare room. So I'm even thinking that might be an option. I don't know. I have not decided yet. We'll see how it goes. I have got a return journey set, and I've had it set for a good hour and a half now. There's not one job come up. So gives you an idea of where we're going to be. But start of the month, still relatively new, isn't it? Only the second week in October. Last week, I'll talk to you about in a minute, but last week was a patchy week. I did alright, to be fair, but it was a patchy week. So just doing this job today just gives me some money in the bank to start us off this week. The other thing as well is this week on Thursday I am covering the other DJ at the pub that I work. He's going watching something in Rochdale Town Centre. He's asked me to cover, so I will be getting money from that, but it means Monday. I've got to be at work for 6 o'clock, so sorry, not Monday, Thursday. So that will be, restricts me a little bit on Thursday, but we'll see how we go. So I'm happy to get the money in early this week, that's the point. So last week, very, very patchy week for me. So I had my car in on the Monday for its MOT and a service. And the thing is, I don't use the car that much now. There's only me that drives in the house. I have told my wife that ideally she could do to drive, because then I don't have to get up every morning and take her to work at 6:30. But she doesn't really want to do it, and I'm not going to force her. But the car is sat at home basically all week. I'm obviously in the van all week. So the car went in for MOT and service. Now, part of this MOT and service, I also needed a new handle, which I know sounds a bit strange. A few months ago, the passenger side, my daughter went to open the door to get out, and the handle snapped. And to be fair to her, she didn't overforce it or anything. I think the mechanism must have been just a little bit tight, and it's just eventually just got to the point where it snapped off. So it wasn't her fault. So I needed that changing. And when I booked it in for MOT and service, I told them that I needed this handle. So the handle arrived, and it was the wrong side. It was the driver's side that it sent. Okay, no worries. So Monday I was out later because I had to drop the car in, but I did get a job in, and I did do a job and I managed to get 2 jobs in actually on the Monday. And we didn't do too bad. We did a small job for a shipper that gives me quite a bit of work, and then I managed to get a return load. And I wanted to get back because of the car, because I knew I'd have to pick it up at some point. But they rung me, explained to me about the handle situation. They're going to get me a new one tomorrow. Right, okay. So this is on the Tuesday. So we agreed that they kept the car overnight, and then they just swapped it out and do it the next day, basically. So that was a plan. That is what we decided. That is what we went ahead and did. So Tuesday came, and I weren't too sure what time. I was told that potentially the user come at about 11 o'clock to swap over. Anyway, it gets to lunchtime, no handle. Damn it. And I did a job to Newcastle on the Tuesday. And again, slightly later pickup, not ideal, booked in with a normal shipper. And that pickup became a job. I wouldn't know. Listen, Newcastle's not the best for getting work back, but by the time I got up there, I had to get back to pick the car up because they didn't have room in the garage. So I had to pick it up Tuesday night with still no handle fixed. So that's what I did. Wednesday morning, my youngest daughter, who's 10-year-old, was in the Harvest Festival, and she had a solo section to sing. So I went to go and see her first. You know, my wife was at work, so there were only me that could have gone and saw her. Went and did that. They then rung me and told me that the handle had arrived and I could stay with it. In the meantime, I managed to book in a job, which tied in nicely. It meant I could watch my daughter, go and drop the car off, stay with it until they did the handle, and then go and do this job. And this job was going down to Leicester, but it was lunchtime pickup, so it all fitted in really nicely. So I got to the garage, and the fitters had to go out. The guy that we're doing the jobs had to fit out. He's had to nip out. So then we're like, what do I do now? I've got this other job I need to do. Anyway, my garage is really good with me, to be fair. And what they did is they said, well, I'll tell you what, leave the car with us. You take the car to the courtesy car. They give you a courtesy car. And they said, what we'll do is we'll bring the car to you and we'll swap out the car. Brilliant. So that's what they did. Paid the bill, and that's what we did. So the car was sorted. But Dad had faffed about all bloody week, and it's frustrating, but hey ho. And then we did some jobs. What did we do on Thursday? Yeah, we managed to get 2 jobs in on Thursday, and I got 2 jobs in on Friday as well. Although I was back quite late on Friday, which I don't like to do because I'm working. Which ended up where we missed out on my minimum by about £25, which isn't a lot. And on review, the fact that I was faffing about at the beginning of the week with a car, I had to go and see my daughter, Actually, I could cope with that because I didn't do full. I worked every day, but some days they weren't full days just for one reason or another. So that's how last week worked out. Anyway, that's last week done. Like I said, I'm on doing this job. I'm open to suggestions today. I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I always like to get home if I can. I don't tramp out. But I need to be realistic about what's going to happen tonight. It's a long way to go and a long way to come back with nothing. And potentially I'm not going to get back till 8-9 o'clock anyway. So, we've just gone over into the Scottish border. So we're now in Scotland. So I'll have to see what happens. We'll see what happens. With a bit of luck, something will pop up. Anyway, I'll let you know in a bit. Hello again, and welcome back. It's Tuesday, and a bit of an update on basically what happened last night. Didn't get any work, which I kind of knew I wouldn't do from that area. And frustratingly, there were a few jobs that came up from Newcastle which would have suited me, but I just couldn't get there in time. So we had to travel 100 miles to Stockton-upon-Tees, where I stayed at my mate's house. So shout out to Dave and Julie for putting me up last night and making me brews and looking after me, basically, because I really didn't want to travel back 200 miles home. And you know what, alright, I've travelled 100 miles to get to their house, but not paid for a hotel, and I've stayed out. So that's a little bit of a bonus for me. As you can probably tell, we're on the move. It is 25 past 10, like I said, on Tuesday the 10th. And I got up this morning about 8 o'clock, put on the feed, had a look on the desktop version on my phone, which isn't the easiest to work on your phone. And the only thing on the desktop was some local jobs, some drop jobs, which was, you know, for the week or running up to Christmas. So none of them were any good. And then I didn't start getting any jobs through till about 8:30, and there weren't a lot came through. I did have a bid on a job that was going to Manchester, from not far away from where I was. That was a small van job, but I didn't get that. But I did get this job, which was Newton Aycliffe, going down to York. It's a medium wheelbase van job, got £1 a mile on it, which I'm happy with. And it's just some medical equipment going between depots. So all in all, happy. I'm on the move, I'm heading in the right direction. And obviously from York, I'm a bit closer to home. I can basically go wherever I want then from there. I do want to get home tonight, obviously, being away last night. And I found out this morning that my middle daughter is not very well. Now, she is 18, but she has literally been up, throwing up all night, can't keep anything down. So it'd be nice to get back and make sure she's okay. But yeah, we're on our way to York. Should get there for about 11:30ish, and from there we're looking at seeing what else we can do. So fingers crossed for me. So we are on Wednesday. So Tuesday ended up to be a bit of I'm not gonna lie, a shitter. I did that job down to York, full of confidence that I could get something else. I didn't mind going a bit more south, or you know, back towards home, towards the northwest. But just nothing came up. I mean, literally nothing. And I tried to be patient. I did the drop. It was really close to a Morrison's. So I went to Morrison's. I went and had some brunch, let's say. Had the feed on. Went and got some fuel. I was going to wash the van actually, but the jet wash was not working. And I was patient, and there was virtually hardly anything coming up. And the things that were coming up were localish jobs, small van jobs, which obviously less money. but I would have had to travel about 50 minutes there to go and get them. So then by the time you've gone and done that and done the job, there's just no point doing it. So I tried to hold out, didn't get anything. My wife rung me, and she finished work at 2:15. And she was, oh right, so you might be back to pick me up then. Might be. So after a couple of hours of waiting around, I headed back towards home. Had the feed on, very little coming up, very little. York is a funny place. I always find there's either loads of work coming out of there, all at the same time, or absolutely nothing. And yesterday was a nothing day. So we ended up picking up the wife and going home. So really, really poor day yesterday. And it's a shame, you know, because I did that job on Monday to try and get ahead for the week. And yeah, it just ripped the arse out of it, to be honest. But at least with the stay over at my mate's, I weren't paying for a hotel, and I weren't spending a load of money on dead miles. So that's probably the only bonus. But anyway, we've got a job this morning, and we're on our way to St Neots. So this is a short wheelbase van job. We've got decent money on it. It is under £1 a mile, but it's probably the going rate for short wheelbase van. And we're due to get there at about 1 o'clock. So hopefully the weather will hold well. The weather's been a bit shite, and it sounds like there's loads of problems on the roads. The M62 going towards Manchester is just all over the place. It is moving, but it's, you know, it's not going as fast as it should be. I believe there's issues on the M6. Luckily we're not going anywhere that way. I just hope that down this side of the country, the east side of the country, it's going to be a bit better. And I've got to say, as I'm travelling this way, it is brightening up. So yeah, hopefully it should be a nice rundown, or an okay rundown. Let you know how we get on. Hello there, and welcome to Thursday. And I'm on my third job of the day. The sun is out. It's a bit cold this morning, but the sun is out now, and it's quite pleasant, I have to say. I think we're now on the turn, aren't we? We're ready for colder mornings, colder nights. With a bit of luck, not too bad in the middle. But autumn is upon us. Anyway, yesterday, bit of another nightmare. I ended up coming back empty, which is not brilliant. You know, it's been one of those weeks where I've put quite a lot of fuel in the van. Probably need to put some more in. And having said that, that will go into next week. And yeah, frustrating when you get a job going quite a distance, you've got time in it to try and get back, and there were literally there's nothing nowhere suitable. There was stuff going south and there's stuff going other places, but yeah, it didn't work out for me. And the reason why I needed to get back is because I had a job booked in for this morning, and I've also got a job booked in for tomorrow morning. And this is a job for, well, the job this morning was from a shipper that uses me quite a lot, that I do quite a lot of work for. He gave me a ring yesterday and asked me if I was willing to do this job, and it was just Huddersfield going to Blackburn. And it's a new customer for him, so it's the first job. So he wanted me there early, and it was 8 o'clock pick up, but he wanted me there at 7:45, which I was. New customer in it, you've got to show willing. And I went and did that job up to Blackburn, and from Blackburn I had a couple of bids in, but I got a job fairly quickly. And it was only a small van job, but it was going up to Lancaster, but I was 3 minutes away from this job. so it was absolutely ideal. I went and got picked up, just one pallet, loaded fairly quickly, and up to Lancaster. Now, on my way up to Lancaster, there was a job that came on, and it was Lancaster to Manchester, and I still had 30 minutes to drop off. But yesterday, to tell you a little tale, I was just due to drop off. I was about 10 minutes away from my drop off yesterday. Went to St Neots down near Northampton. And there was a job that came up, and it was going from Huntington up to Bolton, but I was due to drop off at 1 o'clock, and this weren't pick up till 3 o'clock, so I was umming and ahhing whether or not to bid on it, and I didn't. And subsequently, once I completed the job, it had gone off. And looking back now, I should have just got a bid in. I shouldn't have waited, I should have got the bid in. I would have had plenty of time to have something to eat and get over to Huntington. It was just, yeah, a bad mistake by me. So from that, and you live and learn, don't you? I saw this job come up from Lancaster to Manchester, so I bidded on it. And I put some notes on there, just saying, you know, I am dropping off in Lancaster and I'll be heading back towards Manchester. When she rung me fairly quickly, I did say to her, you know, have you seen the notes? She went, yeah, I've seen the notes, I'm absolutely fine with that. If you're going back to Manchester anyway, makes sense. Fair enough. So I got the job. So that's just goes to show out early this morning, lucky and getting a job virtually straight away, which was very close. This job was fairly close. It was only 3.5, 4 miles from where I dropped off, and it's just kept me busy. And we're literally on just after midday now, just after 12 o'clock, and we're on our way to Manchester. We'll get there for 1 o'clock. We're going to Trafford Park, which is a good area for work, good side of Manchester to get work from. And to be honest, probably just want one more small job. So I am working tonight, I'm DJing tonight, and I'm DJing tomorrow, and I've got to be there for 6 o'clock. So timelines, you know, I've got to get home, get something to eat, get ready to go. Need to give it a good half an hour to get there, and then I've got to set up. So I can't do a lot today. So the fact that I've got these 3 jobs in, only small jobs, only minimum charge jobs, apart from the first one, but it's worked out. It's worked out really well, and I'm going to be similar tomorrow. So tomorrow we've got another job booked in from this same place that I've been to today. Brand new customer for my shipper, and it's going there. And this one's only going to Dewsbury, so it's only going about 7 or 8 miles. So that'll be a good paying job. But it's drop off at 9 o'clock. That means at 9 o'clock I'm going to be in Dewsbury. I'm going to be ready to bid. Same again tomorrow. Get some small bids in, get some small work, just bob around the northwest, and then I can get home ready for work tomorrow evening. So that's the plan. So a bit happier today. Still need some money in. You know, it's good that I've got some money booked in for tomorrow. One more job today, and then a couple of small jobs tomorrow after that first one, and we'll hit our minimum target. Well, we'll be over our minimum target. So after going to the northeast and struggling, look, I did get back, didn't I? But Tuesday was a bit of a washout. And then after yesterday, going out a long way and having a lot of dead miles on the way home, end of the week is looking more promising. So 1 day left. See how we get on. So it's Saturday morning, and just a bit of a rundown on how the week has gone. Friday yesterday we had that job that was booked in, and it was on a small job going from Huddersfield to Dewsbury, and then a shipper rung me and asked me if I could do another job from Chadderton to Barnsley, which I said, yeah, no problem, do that. Kept me moving, so it meant as soon as I got to Dewsbury, headed back to Chadderton, I went and did the job to Barnsley. Now, a few days ago, you might have heard me talking about, I went down to, where did I go? St Neots, near Northampton, and I didn't get a job back. And I missed out on a job going back to Bolton, but the waiting, I weren't too sure. I thought something else might come up and it didn't, so I didn't bid on it, and subsequently I ended up coming back empty. So I learned my lesson on that, and you do learn all the time. And yesterday I was just loading, just waiting to be loaded actually, and a job that came up. Bear in mind I'm going to Barnsley, from Barnsley back to Manchester. And it was only a small van job, but it was Friday, needed to get back, I'd worked Friday night. And I bid on it because the time, I had plenty of time to go and pick it up. It was only a door. It was somewhere to nothing. So I bidded on it, and I got that, which meant that when I got to Barnsley, I could then go straight from that to the other job in Barnsley, back over to Stockport, and then I called it a day. And that was it for the week. So last week we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We did 9 jobs last week. And we did miss our minimum target. And a couple of things really that happened. Tuesday was a really bad day. I got that job to York. I was convinced that I'd get something else back towards Manchester way. Just never happened. And after waiting around for quite a while, it just didn't work out for me. So that I was poor. We had the drive back from St Neots, sorry if you live from around there, empty, which potentially if I got a job back from that would have put me in a really good place for the week. And then Thursday weren't so bad, 3 jobs, and Friday weren't too bad, 3 jobs, but there were smaller, more bobbing about jobs, so there weren't massive amounts of money in them. Pence per mile were decent on majority of them, but the actual money wasn't fantastic. So that's it. That's been the week. So for the month, it puts us all right. Nothing spectacular. Got another couple of weeks left, obviously, of October. And for me, you know, this is one of those months where I need to get the monies in the kitty, because obviously these will be paying at the end of November. And then we're obviously going into December, which we know. We've got Christmas at the end of it, so we know we're going to have at least a week off around that time. And also in December, I've got the MOT on the van. And then from that, we're obviously going into January, February, where we know it's always quiet again. So we need probably a good week next week, I would say. I hope this week, or this video, has been enlightening and you've enjoyed it. What I would say is that I was having a conversation, we were on the WhatsApp conversation about CX and what they're saying jobs are going for. And Freddie Fletcher, James has put a video on recently about CX. He's done a little demo on the desktop version around CX, obviously saying that, you know, average price for a long wheelbase is £1.70 a mile. That is not the case. You know, I pitch myself at somewhere around £1.10, £1.20, which is probably about the going rate. But I'll be honest with you, if you're bidding against a lot of people to do the job, you'll struggle getting that now, because it's that tight at the moment. And the conversation went along the way of, this is my view, and this is exactly how it is, and James has actually summed it up and said exactly the same. Basically what happens is, there's a lot of local jobs go, especially if you're in like Manchester area or you're in the Midlands. You'll have Midlands like Birmingham going to Coventry or them kind of areas. You'll have Leeds going to Manchester, or Manchester to Bolton, or Blackburn to Huddersfield. There's not a lot of miles within the jobs. So what potentially happens is you bid on them, and especially if it's tiny miles. So say, for example, you charge a minimum charge of 50 quid for a minimum charge. You might be doing a job at 8 miles. I did one job this week, which was only 8 miles. And because I charged my minimum, my pence per mile was huge. It's like over £5 a mile I was getting. Now, if you think that the CX is taking all that information and putting it all together, then there's more small jobs than bigger jobs. And what's happening is it's skewing their pence per mile. And to be fair to them, the information they're giving you will be correct. When they're saying the average is £1.70 a mile, it probably is. But when you look at it from a job specific, it's not going to work out. You know, if you're doing minimum charge 50 quid, for example, and you're doing a 10-mile run, then your pence per mile is huge. And that's just because you wouldn't charge a 10-mile job at £1.20 a mile, because it'd be a ridiculous amount of money, wouldn't it? It'd be like 12 quid. It's not worth doing it. You just wouldn't do it. So you charge a minimum. If you do a long distance job, obviously you'd be more charging around your 110, 130 for a long wheelbase van job. That then is about where the going rate is, I would say. So the CX aren't lying to you, but the figures are skewed, and to be fair to them, they can only go off the figures that they're given. Anyway, I've gone on enough. Hope that you've enjoyed the video. Please do the usual and like and subscribe, and check out everyone else's videos, and just, yeah, keep in touch with what's going on. It can only help you. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.